Atinuke turned around to see who it was that had spoken to her, but she could see no one. "Who is there?" she called out, but there was no response. Atinuke, however, decided to obey the voice and took the steps, and there she found the leaf. She quickly plucked the amount she considered was enough, and as she was about to leave, the voice spoke again. "You must not reveal the secret about this herb to Iya Titi, else that will be the end of you," the voice warned. "Who are you? Show yourself," Atinuke said, trembling. And then the owner of the voice came out. It was her mother's spirit. Welcome to Iyagba's Epic Tales. Once upon a time, in the western part of Nigeria, and in a small but beautiful rich village called Ilu Ewendara, lived a woman called Iya Titi. Iya Titi was renowned and well known in the village of Ilu Ewendara for her knowledge and gifts of herbs and healing. Ilu Ewendara is a village whose strength and origin is drawn from herbs. Many centuries ago, their forefathers and ancestors had been plagued by a deadly disease, and for years, people died day by day until there were only few people left in the village. The people and village was almost going extinct until their gods heard their cries and blessed a young woman with a special knowledge and gifts for herbs, which she used to treat the people. And so, they survived and again grew strong, bearing children, and the village grew again till this day. The young woman who was gifted by their gods with the knowledge of herbs and gifts of healing bore a daughter, and the same gifts and knowledge was passed down to her and to her daughter after her and the daughters that came thereafter, making it a generational gift. Iya Titi is a descendant of that young woman. The people of Ilu Ewendara, knowing their history and appreciative of the family their gods have blessed with this knowledge of herbs and gifts of healing, respects Iya Titi and hold her in high esteem. Even the king and the royal household respects her. Iya Titi had taken over the gift of healing 7 years ago after her elder sister, Iya Atinuke, who initially held that position, died 7 years ago. The villagers had thought that Atinuke, who is Iya Atinuke's daughter, would be the one the gift would rest upon after her mother's death, as it has always been. But they were surprised that it rather rested on Iya Titi instead, who is Iya Atinuke's younger sister. Anyway, they concluded that since Atinuke was only 9 years old and quite very young at the time of her mother's death, could be the reason their god decided to pass the gift to Iya Titi instead, since she is older and mature at the time of her older sister's death. Iya Titi enjoyed all the privileges that comes with being the village's renowned healer. She dressed and wore expensive clothes and beads, and so does her daughter Titi. However, Iya Titi neglected Atinuke and maltreats her. She does not take care of Atinuke. She made Atinuke wear dirty and torn clothes and made her work for her like a maid. Few people in the village were not okay with how Iya Titi treats her niece, but they were scared to comfort her or say anything aloud, as they would not want to offend or question the great healer and suffer a consequence. So, they only spoke in hushed tones. Atinuke walked from dawn to dusk, doing all the house chores, while Titi, her cousin, does nothing. The only time Atinuke gets to take a break from doing chores in the house is when Iya Titi takes her with her to people's houses when she wants to go treat them. Atinuke would carry Iya Titi's medicine and herbs bag and be the one to grind and mix the herbs for Iya Titi before Iya Titi would administer the herb to the patients. The king of the village was blessed with 2 children, an older daughter named Princess Atinuke and a son named Prince Adedotun. Prince Adedotun is a young boy of 17 years and the heir to the throne. However, the king was sad, and this is because his son and heir suffers from epilepsy. Occasionally, Prince Adedotun would suffer episodes of epileptic attacks, and this condition makes the king feel embarrassed. All the herbs and treatments Iya Titi had administered over the years had not cured the prince, but only managed to reduce the number of episodes the prince suffers. Unlike before, Prince Adedotun experienced only 2 or 3 episodes in a month compared to 2-3 times a week in the past before Iya Titi started treating him. As a result of this illness, Prince Adedotun was not allowed to go outside the palace walls, and only few important chiefs and Iya Titi knew of the prince's condition. Prince Adedotun was always sad because of how he is being restricted from going out of the palace. I know that you are a girl and would love to be in the company of your friends, but please speak to father on my behalf. If he knows that you are with me and together with some guards, he would be less worried and would allow me go out for an hour at least. Prince Adedotun asked his older sister, Princess Atinuke, one day. Princess Atinuke was able to convince their father, the king, and true to Prince Adedotun's words, their father gave him the permission to go out, since he would be with his sister and some guards who would be around to look after him. Prince Adedotun and his sister took a stroll along the path that led to the stream. As they walked, Atinuke, who was coming from the stream, came along. She greeted the royal entourage and continued walking. Is that not the girl who comes to the palace with Iya Titi? Prince Adedotun asked his sister. Yes, she is. What about her? Princess Atinuke asked. Well, she is very beautiful and so calm. I like her, but I am afraid that she may not accept me because of my condition, Prince Adedotun replied. Listen, the gods would heal you and give you a good wife when the time is right, Princess Atinuke said to her brother, trying to console and encourage him. The days that followed, Prince Adedotun kept asking his father for permission to go out again, but the king would not grant him the permission. Weeks later, after much persistence from Prince Adedotun, the king allowed him to go out again in the company of his sister and some guards as the other time. Once again, Prince Adedotun, his sister, and the royal guards took a walk along the path to the stream. From afar, they saw Atinuke coming from the stream with her water pots on her head. She greeted them as it is supposed to be and continued walking when suddenly she heard a loud noise. She turned around to see who had made the noise and the reason for it. The noise came from the prince and the royal escorts. The prince was on the ground and was suffering another attack. Atinuke ran towards the prince. Princess Atinuke was crying and asking them to do something. The guards tried to lift the prince and carry him home. In the midst of all the confusion, Atinuke spoke up. I can help him if you would allow me to, and give me a few minutes to go get some herbs from the bush, she quickly said. Then do that fast, Princess Adenike said amidst the chaos. Atinuke quickly dashed into the bush. She knew what herb to get, as she had been going to collect some herbs for her auntie Iya Titi whenever she was asked to. Few seconds into the bush, Atinuke found the herb she was looking for. But as she was about to cut the herb, she heard a soft voice. This herb can only give temporal healing to the prince, as it has always been. Take 9 steps further, and by the side of the leaf used to treat cough, you will see another pointed leaf. Collect it, for it is the herb that will permanently cure the prince's illness. Atinuke turned around to see who it was that had spoken to her, but she could see no one. "Who is there?" she called out, but there was no response. Atinuke, however, decided to obey the voice and took the steps, and there she found the leaf. She quickly plucked the amount she considered was enough, and as she was about to leave, the voice spoke again. "You must not reveal the secret about this herb to Iya Titi, else that will be the end of you," the voice warned. "Who are you? Show yourself," Atinuke said, trembling. And then the owner of the voice came out. It was her mother's spirit. Atinuke, confused and happy at the same time, tried to touch her mother, but her mother's spirit stopped her. "Stop, my child. Go and quickly do what you have to do. I am always with you. Just heed to the warning that I have given you," she said and disappeared. Atinuke, remembering the prince, rushed back to him. She squeezed the leaves and administered it to the prince, and instantly the prince was well and okay again. Prince Adenike narrated everything that happened during their walk to her parents when they got back to the palace. Well, she has been assisting and working with Iya Titi, so it's no surprise that she knew the right herbs for the prince's condition, the king and queen said. Well, anyway, thanks be to the gods that she was around at the time, the king said. But from that day, he decided not to allow the prince out of the palace again. Months passed and Prince Adedotun did not suffer any episodes. No one really took note of it until one day when Princess Adenike thought about it. "It's been 5 months now since my brother has suffered the epileptic attack," she said. She also recalled that it was Adenike who had treated her brother last, and since that time, not for once had the prince had any attack. She told her father about her observation, and they also agreed with her because they have also observed the same thing. The king decided to appreciate Iya Titi and Atinuke, as he believes that it was Iya Titi who was able to teach Atinuke well and had permanently cured his son. And so he sent for them. Iya Titi was lost when the king began thanking her and Atinuke because Atinuke did not mention the events to her. Being a cunning woman, she decided to act along and accept all the accolades. But that was when Atinuke spoke up. "It is the spirit of my mother who showed me the right herb which I used to permanently cure the prince," she said. Then she went further to reveal how it is her who has been behind all the treatments and knowledge of the herbs Iya Titi has been using to treat people. Iya Titi did not possess the knowledge and gift of healing, but has been using Atinuke and lying to the whole village. Iya Titi was jealous of her sister and the respect given to her because of her gift. She was angry that she was not blessed with this gift, and so one day, when Atinuke was not watching, her younger sister Iya Titi stabbed her and put a knife through her heart. She quickly covered up the wound and lied to the whole village that Atinuke died in her sleep. She threatened young Atinuke, who had witnessed everything, that she was going to kill her also if she told anyone and does not do as she says. And that was why Atinuke had no choice but to do what Iya Titi asked of her and tell her what herbs to use to treat every sick person brought to Iya Titi, as Iya Titi pretends the whole village that she was the healer. Atinuke revealed all of this to the king and king's council after her mother had appeared to her the night before in her dream and given her the courage to speak the truth and expose Iya Titi. Everyone opened their mouths in shock. Iya Titi was beheaded as the punishment for killing someone was death also. Atinuke became the real healer that she was and was accorded a due honor. Atinuke and the prince also became betrothed, and 3 years later, when they were both of age and adults, they got married. Atinuke became both the healer and queen of Ewindara's village. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story and have learned a thing or two from it. I would love to know. Please leave a comment. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video. Bye.